What is the missing piece of manufacturing manager training? I'm Greg Schenkel, President of Unique Training and Development and FrontLine Leadership Systems, and today we've got to look at this issue of what is the training piece that's missing so that manufacturing leaders can be more effective. Probably the biggest myth is we think that the frontline leaders really don't care about training and don't want to attend training. Well, there is something to that myth because a lot of the training that they're subjected to just doesn't resonate with them. It isn't meaningful, and so they don't see the value from it. But that doesn't mean they don't want training and don't need it. So the fact is that training is really only deemed to be successful when it generates a change in behavior. So if you've gone to a class and then you've incorporated some of that into your routine, you could say that the training is successful. But if you attend training and nothing ever changes and you put nothing into action, then it could be deemed to be a waste of time. Now, we just finished delivering some training to a world-class medical supply manufacturer, and probably one of the things that really makes us happy is near the end of the course, they often will say, well, this is the best training I've ever seen. And this is something, thinking that these leaders, some of them have been in the business for 20 or 30 years, but what they're really speaking to is that a lot of the training that they're subjected to really kind of uses references from banking and insurance and other service industries and doesn't feel real about the shop floor that they work in. So I think it's a big feather in our cap when we hear that kind of feedback from those attendees. So what can you do as leadership so that you can place this missing piece in manufacturing manager training? Well, I've got 3 tips for you. Tip number 1 is to demonstrate support. There's nothing new here. Most of the effective change initiatives in your organization need a great deal of commitment from the top. So it can't be just, hey, we hired this training company to come in and you're scheduled to attend. And by the way, as a side note, it always surprises me when people say, yesterday my boss told me to come to training today. It's like, that doesn't demonstrate support. That demonstrates we didn't even think it was important to tell you were going to be attending training. So you can demonstrate support by actively taking part in crafting the program so it can be successful. The second thing you can do, of course, is lead by example. Now, your people are going to be looking at you as they're learning these new leadership skills and behaviors. And one of the common things a supervisor will say who's attending a course is, my boss needs this training. So why not preempt that by either taking part in the same training through a blended group with the trainees, or have your own executive briefing session so that you can be up to speed on some of the things that are going to be covered in the training. The other thing that we do that makes us a bit different is we create a manager toolkit so that the managers of the people who are taking our course can see specifically what those key learning points are so that they can lead by example. The third and final tip for plugging in this missing piece of manufacturing manager training is to coach the change. Now, coaching the change means inevitably, even if I've gone to a training program, I'm still going to struggle as I try to adapt that into my leadership habits and behaviors. So as a manager, your job is to observe things and then reinforce the changes that you're seeing that are positive, but also deal with the gaps that you might notice between how the person is acting now and how they should be acting based on the training that was provided. We all benefit from some degree of coaching, and coaching is good because someone else is observing you objectively and then providing those kinds of suggestions to make you more effective. So once you've done that and you've plugged in the missing piece of manufacturing manager training, you're going to want to work on some of the other leadership skills, both for yourself and for the leaders who report to you, and that's where our frontline leadership training comes in. We deliver it in multiple formats, whether it's from our virtual training studio, a beautiful multi-camera environment, or perhaps it's live and in person on site. We do that in English, Spanish, and French. And of course, all these projects usually start with a small assignment and then they grow based on the capabilities and success that people see from the project. What you need to do is to begin with a conversation, and that means visiting our website at uniquedevelopment.com and get started on this journey to leadership excellence.